Your hands are shaking, not from fear, from something worse. You're standing in the wreckage of a conversation that felt like concern, like love. But your chest is hollow, your thoughts are scrambled, and you can't explain why. They didn't yell, they didn't threaten, they just smiled and said, "I'm only saying this because I care about you." And now you're wondering if you're the problem. This isn't a disagreement, this is a siege. You've been defending yourself in a war you didn't know you were fighting. You brought empathy to a power struggle, explanation to a battlefield, and every word you said to prove your case just handed them another weapon. Machiavelli wrote 500 years ago that most people lose because they believe the world runs on fairness. It doesn't. It runs on leverage, on pattern recognition, on who controls the narrative. The toxic person, the narcissist, the manipulator, the covert aggressor, they already know this. They've been playing chess while you've been trying to have an honest conversation. But here's what they don't expect. The moment you stop defending and start commanding, the moment you stop explaining and start extracting, the moment you learn the language of power they've been speaking all along. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to give you 7 tactical rules from Machiavelli's playbook, not theory, method. How to become unreadable, how to turn their games into traps they fall into themselves, how to win without saying a word. This is the war room, and you're about to learn how to overthrow the regime inside your own life. Drop your answer in the comments. Let's map the battlefield. Principle 1, stop bleeding data. The information blackout. We're taught that vulnerability builds connection, that sharing your struggles makes relationships authentic, that if you just explain yourself clearly enough, they'll understand. To a healthy person, intimacy is connection. To a toxic person, intimacy is ammunition. Every fear you confess, every insecurity you reveal, every complaint about your boss, your finances, your relationship status, it's being filed away, indexed, weaponized for the moment it serves them. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise prince should never let his thoughts be known." He understood that information asymmetry is the foundation of power. The more they know about you, the more control vectors they have. The less you know about their true intentions, the more you operate in fog. Think about it. When you post on social media that you're feeling lonely, the love bomber knows exactly when to strike. When you tell your toxic mother you're struggling with money, she knows exactly how to buy your compliance with guilt. When you confide in the supportive coworker about your job search, they report directly to management. You're not being authentic, you're being predictable. Become strategically vague. When they ask, "How are you?" do not give them the real answer. Standard protocol: "I'm good, busy, you know how it is." Planning to leave a toxic job? Tell no one. Starting a side business? Tell no one. Having relationship trouble? Do not tell the friend who just wants to help. This will feel unnatural. You'll feel secretive. Good. Secrecy is armor. Camouflage isn't cowardice in the animal kingdom. It's survival. They will test this. They'll say, "You're being so distant lately, we never talk anymore." This is a baiting maneuver. They're fishing for a reaction. They want you to say, "No, I'm not, I just," and then spill. Don't bite. Response: "Really? I've just been focused on work." How's your new car? Deflect, pivot, keep the spotlight on them. While they talk, you study. While they reveal, you conceal. At asymmetry, that's power. If you're realizing you've been broadcasting your coordinates to people who are mapping your weaknesses, hit subscribe. This channel is about seeing the game clearly, not playing it naively. Principle 2, the void. Weaponized indifference. Conference room. Mid-morning. Your coworker Mark leans back in his chair and says loud enough for everyone to hear, "Well, I guess some of us have time to leave early while the rest of us do the actual work." Your heart rate spikes. You want to say, "I stayed late 3 times last week. I covered your shift on Tuesday." You literally stop. They defend. They correct the record. They try to restore truth to the room, and they lose because Mark doesn't care about the truth. He cares about making you look defensive in front of the boss. He wants you to react. He wants friction. Friction is his fuel. Machiavelli. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. The toxic person relies on reading you. They map your nervous system. They know that if they poke here, you bleed. If they press there, you snap. Your defense become unmappable. In psychology, this is called the gray rock method, but we're taking it further. This is aggressive silence. You look at Mark, 3-second pause. Let the silence stretch. Let it become uncomfortable for him, not you. Then calmly, "Interesting perspective, Mark. Turn back to the boss. Continue your presentation. What just happened?" You denied him fuel. You made his comment look petty and small because you didn't dignify it with defense. You signaled to the room he is beneath my notice. This is therapeutic indifference. It hurts more than any insult could. An insult implies they matter enough to upset you. Indifference implies they don't exist. When you first do this, they will escalate. They'll get louder, meaner, more absurd. This is called the extinction burst. It's the tantrum a toddler throws when the parent stops giving in. Do not break. This is the sign you're winning. Their control panel is broken. They're pushing buttons and nothing is happening. Stay in the void. You're training them. You're conditioning them like Pavlov's dog. Toxicity yields zero reward. Eventually, they move on to easier prey. Predators are lazy. If you're a stone, they can't eat you. Principle 3, judo. You see their force against them. Never meet force with force. Redirect it. In judo, you don't resist the opponent's push. You pull them. If they pull you, you push them. You use their momentum to make them fall. You can do this verbally. Toxic parent. You're such a disappointment. You never visit. Resistance response. I visit all the time. I was there last week. You're never happy. Result, hour-long fight. Emotional drainage. They win. You're right. I probably don't visit as much as you'd like. Then silence. Watch what happens. You agreed with the truth of their perception, but you accepted no guilt. You didn't apologize. You didn't promise to change. You just agreed. Those 2 words, "you're right," are the ultimate conversation killer for a toxic person. They geared up for a fight. They put on the gloves. They're bouncing in the ring. And you just sat down. They have nowhere to put that aggression. It bounces back. It hits them. Manipulator, you're acting crazy right now. Resistance, I'm not crazy. You're gaslighting me. Result, see, you're yelling. You are crazy. Trap sprung. I can see why you might think that. End of sentence. You validated their perception without validating the fact. You're saying, I see your illusion. This is maddening for them. Machiavelli. A prince should appear to be whatever the people need him to be while remaining true to his own objectives. You appear to be agreeing. You appear submissive, but in reality, you're ending the interaction on your terms. You're preserving your energy. Every argument with a toxic person leaks vitality. It ages you. It spikes cortisol. It ruins your week. Is it worth it to prove you're right to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you? No. Give them the win so you can keep the peace. You're right. I'm terrible at loading the dishwasher. Walk away. Go enjoy your life. Let them have the dishwasher victory. You keep your sanity. This requires massive ego reduction. Your ego wants justice, but justice is rare. Peace is created. Prioritize peace over pride. Most people would rather be right than be powerful. They'd rather win the argument than win the relationship, win the debate than win their day back. Machiavelli prudence consists in knowing how to distinguish the character of troubles and for choice to take the lesser evil. The lesser evil letting them think they won the argument. The greater evil losing your soul trying to convince them. Principle 4, absence. The strategic withdrawal. If you are always available, you are cheap. Machiavelli, absence diminishes mediocre passions and increases great ones. In the context of toxicity, absence is both shield and sword. Supply and demand. Basic economics. If you're always there to be the emotional punching bag, they will punch. You must create scarcity. This isn't just about no contact. Sometimes you can't go no contact. Maybe it's a boss, a co-parent, a family obligation, but you can go low contact. You can go emotional absence. Stop answering on the first ring. Stop replying to texts immediately. Stop attending every gathering out of obligation. When you withdraw your presence, you disrupt their pattern. They're used to you being a fixture in their reality. When the fixture moves, they get disoriented. Where have you been? Why are you ignoring me? Response, I've just been incredibly busy. How are you? Ambiguity plus absence. You're training them. Access to you is a privilege, not a right. When they abuse that privilege, access is revoked. Imagine you're a castle. The toxic person is a barbarian at the gate. For years you left the drawbridge down. They walked in, muddied the carpets, stole the silver, insulted the guards, and left. And you stood there asking, why would they do that? Pull up the drawbridge. They will scream from the other side of the moat. They'll throw rocks. They'll tell the whole village you're a cruel tyrant for locking them out. Let them. You are safe inside. Machiavelli knew that to rule, one must be independent. If you are dependent on their approval, you are a vassal. If you are dependent on their money, you are a serf. If you are dependent on their validation, you are a slave. To beat them, you must build your own kingdom. Financial independence, emotional independence, social independence. The more you need them, the more they can hurt you. The less you need them, the more you become a ghost they cannot catch. When you finally stop caring, truly stop caring about their opinion, their power evaporates. The monster was only scary because you were asleep. If this is rewiring how you see power, hit like. It tells me you're ready for what comes next. Principle 5, the spotlight. Public exposure as a weapon. Toxic people rely on social politeness. They make snide comments disguised as jokes, implied insults wrapped in concern, and they count on the fact that you won't make a scene. The moment you force them into the light, their power collapses. Machiavelli. Men ought either to be well treated or crushed because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries. Of more serious ones they cannot. Translation: if you're going to fight, don't wound, end it. Most people fight in half measures, a complaint to HR that gets downplayed, a subtle eye roll. This is a mistake. When you inflict a light injury on a toxic person, you don't stop them. You motivate them. You trigger their revenge complex. If you're going to confront, you must neutralize. They make a snide comment in front of others. You do not get angry, you stop everything. Look at them with clinical curiosity and ask, "Can you explain what you meant by that?" Silence. They'll try to brush it off. "Oh, I was just kidding, you're too sensitive. Do not let them escape. I understand you were joking, but I don't get the punchline. Explain to me why that's funny." Now the room is quiet. The tension is high. They are sweating. They have to either admit cruelty or say something that makes them look incompetent. You've stripped away their camouflage. You've exposed the predator. This is a crushing blow because it destroys their social mask. A narcissist would rather be punched in the face than humiliated publicly. Once you do this effectively, once you show them you're willing to make things awkward to protect your boundaries, they recoil. They will label you difficult. Good. Difficult means hard to eat. Principle 6, the paper trail. Documentation is checkmate. If this is you, you're stuck arguing with someone who lies effortlessly, rewrites history, and always has a different story when witnesses appear. Toxic people rely on verbal manipulation. They're better liars than you. They have no shame rewriting the past. In a he said, she said scenario, they often win because they're more committed to the lie than you are to the truth. Toxic boss tells you verbally, "Take Friday off. You've earned it. Friday comes, you're out. Monday, why weren't you here? We had a crisis. This is unacceptable." You say, "But you told me." "I never said that. No witnesses, no proof. You look unreliable." Counter move, switch to paper. Every conversation gets an email summary. "Per our conversation, you stated X, Y, and Z. Please confirm." They will hate this. They'll try to call you to avoid the paper trail. Do not pick up. "I'm in the middle of something." Send it in an email. When you present a stack of undeniable facts, you're not arguing. You're executing a checkmate. A prince must rely on his own arms, not the arms of others. Your arms, your records, your facts, your time-stamped reality. Never threaten. Never say, "I'm going to report you." Empty threats signal weakness. Just act, file the report, send the email, make the statement. The blow must come out of nowhere, and it must be decisive. When they realize you're not playing a game of emotions but a game of consequences, they retreat. When toxic people lose control of you, they try to control how others see you. They paint you as unstable, abusive, difficult, a liar. This terrifies most people. We're social animals. The fear of being outcast is primal. But here's the play. Principle 7, the reputation fortress. Long game defense. Do not defend yourself against a smear campaign. Build a fortress they can't breach. Machiavelli. The best fortress a prince can have is the affection of his people. If Mark tells everyone you're an unhinged lunatic, but every other person in the office experiences you as calm, helpful, and professional, Mark starts to look like the liar. You are playing the long game. The toxic person burns bridges. They use people. Eventually their mask slips with everyone. You just have to survive until it does. Do not badmouth them back. If someone says, "Hey, Mark said you were difficult to work with," do not launch into a rant about Mark. That makes it, he said, she said. That's a shame he feels that way. I actually think Mark is very talented at 10th. I hope he's doing okay. This confuses the messenger. Mark is spitting poison. You're offering grace. Who looks like the problem? You are using contrast. Darkness is most visible when placed next to light. Be the light. Not because you're a saint, but because it's the most strategic way to expose their darkness. If you control your behavior consistently, you eventually control public perception. Let the toxic person dig their own grave with their mouth. You just hand them the shovel by staying silent. It takes time, it takes patience. But the truth has a way of rising. Not because the universe is fair, but because toxic people are addicted to chaos. Eventually, they chaos themselves into a corner. You just have to be standing far enough away to not get hit by the debris. The 5-step action plan. Let me give you the tactical system. This is what you deploy tomorrow. Step 1. Morning ritual. Before you check your phone, say this: I do not owe explanation, I do not owe reaction, I owe strategy. Write it. Pin it. This is your operating system. Now, step 2 in the moment script. When they provoke you, do not wing it. Use one of these. I understand you feel that way. Interesting perspective. You might be right. Then stop talking. Let silence do the damage. Step 3, the 7-day social experiment. For 1 week, talk 30% less. Answer questions with questions. Deflect spotlights. Give vague, pleasant responses. Track how people react. Watch who gets uncomfortable. Those are the people who are feeding off your openness. Step 4, list everyone who has access to your private information. Ask, if this person became an enemy tomorrow, what could they use against me? If the answer is a lot, start the information blackout. Step 5, evening review. End of day, ask yourself, where did I defend when I should have deflected? Where did I give information I didn't need to give? Where did I let someone pull my strings? No guilt, just data. Adjust tomorrow. So, where does this leave us? We've walked through the war room. We've mapped the battlefield. We've picked up the weapons, silence, ambiguity, absence, judo, exposure, documentation, and reputation. Some of you are uncomfortable. Is this manipulation? Let me ask you a question. Is a surgeon cruel for cutting open a patient to remove a tumor? Is a soldier cruel for neutralizing a threat to protect the innocent? You have been a hostage to your own empathy for too long. You've treated your kindness like a liability. You've handed it out to people who use it as a weapon against you. Machiavelli wasn't a villain, he was a realist. He wanted to protect the state from chaos. You are the state. Your mind is the kingdom. Your energy is the treasury. Your time is the army. When you adopt these strategies, you are not becoming a bad person. You are becoming a formidable person. There's a difference. A harmless person is not good. They're just helpless. A formidable person who chooses to be kind. That is true virtue. You are building a wall so you can plant a garden behind it. Without the wall, the garden is trampled. Without the armor, your empathy is destroyed. By learning the dark, you protect the light. You are no longer a leaf in the wind of other people's emotions. You are the wind. If this changed how you see power, subscribe. Next video, how to read people faster than they can lie to you. And drop a comment. What change starts today? One word, one boundary, one silence. You've been playing by the rules of decency in a game designed for wolves. Now you know the rules. Now you know the weapons. And now finally, you are dangerous. Not because you want to hurt, but because you refuse to be hurt again. Welcome to the war room.